voice really from the past and what my history looks like. I grew up in a household where we learned Black history and understood the struggle that African Americans went through in our nation's history. And I saw this, and I saw that with a single voice, change was made, with people like Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X, but even deeper than that, people like Huey Newton and Fred Hampton and Angela Davis. I saw these icons leading the way with their voice. These people didn't have thousands of dollars. These people didn't always wear fanciest of suits. These people didn't live in overly lavish homes. These people were regular people who saw an injustice and decided to say something against it. And with that, I saw this, and then I saw an injustice myself. And these two things combined forced me to use my voice. I saw there was a problem, and I couldn't sit silent any longer. I couldn't just let it pass by me like I saw the rest of the world do. And after that first Child Abuse Awareness March, and after that first speech, something just clicked in me, and it was a fire that was just lit automatically. And it was something that I couldn't ignore. And it was a passion that followed me everywhere I went. And so after learning about my history, learning about what I could do, and after seeing something that had to be done, plus the ability to do it, I think that all those things combined just led me to finding a very passionate voice. A lot of my confidence from the people around me. I get it from people like my mom and my siblings, my family and my friends, who are just all people that continue to say that you can do it. I think we really have begun to understanding that our words have so much power. And so with me going to school or coming home every day and every night, and hearing my teacher saying that you can do anything you set your mind to, and hearing my mom said that you got it, just take your seat at the table. I think those are things that really boosted my confidence. Recently, I got the chance to attend General Assembly, and I had to wake up at 5:55 in the morning, which is not something I usually do as a student. And I was tired. The morning started off a little rocky. Things were a little rough. I had a meeting at 7:05, and we got to this building, the Pocahontas building, at around 6:30-ish. And my mom, right as I got out of the car, of course it was on I love you, but more importantly, she said, take your seat at the table. And I think so often we hear bring yours, and to know that there was already a seat there waiting for me and for our young people, I think that really just showed me that, I got this, I can do it. And so I get a lot of my confidence from my friends and my family, and especially my mom. But I think I also get a lot of my influence, like I said earlier, from the past. I get a lot of my passion and my style and speech and developing those things from people like John Lewis and Fred Hampton, who are two of my personal heroes, more specifically John Lewis, just because he has influenced me so dramatically that I want to go into legislation like he did, but more importantly, I want to continue to be an activist. I think he was very much a voice for the voiceless, a mouthpiece for the poor and for the forsaken, the forgotten by our society. And he is someone that has continued to show me things. And even in his passing, every single time I learn something new about him, I think there's a new lesson that comes with it, whether it's having faith that change can come, or having hope that our generation can do it, whether it is trusting in ourselves to battle any giant that is set in our way, and things like that. So I think that when I look at my confidence, it definitely comes from my mom. But when I think that I look at my influencers, it definitely comes from our past and showing me that there are things that we have done and there are things that we can continue to do. But to paraphrase a quote by Marcus Garvey, by understanding what we have done and to understand our past, a lot of our future can be shaped. So important to be an advocate for our young people. And I really couldn't stress this enough. I think our young people, we are oftentimes left out and forgotten, like I said previously, by the rest of society, simply because we can't vote and we don't go into drafts and we don't have a lot of the constitutional rights because we're not necessarily 18 yet. And I think that for too long, just because we can't do those things, we've oftentimes been left out of the conversation completely. And this especially matters when those conversations are about things that include us. We really started to have a lot of gun conversations after things like Parkland and Columbine and Sandy Hook, and really every school shooting in American history. However, as we look to those times, rarely do we see our legislators and people who are in those high places bringing our young people And so, of course, we've had those prominent young activists, but they've had to push themselves to the front, and oftentimes stepping on many toes and hurting a lot of feelings, only creating more stigma around it. So I think that it is so important because oftentimes we don't have that voice. We don't have that position of power. We don't have that. And we often really can't achieve it. As a 14-year-old, I can't run for office. And especially, I can't really run for my school board, even though I know what my school needs most. So while this is a battle that we have been fighting for so long, and while we will continue to fight it, it is absolutely crucial that right now we're taking the time to be those advocates. And this goes to young people and adults, is that we need everyone to step up to the plate. And so when we are having conversations about funding our schools, then we need to be able to go to our students and ask how this is impacting them. When we're having conversations about what is being taught, then we need to be able to go to our students and ask them their opinions on these things, because they're the ones being taught. They're the ones going to these underfunded schools. And so I think there's a lot of importance in not only being a youth advocate, but also being an advocate for youth, because we are oftentimes left out. And for that reason, we're going to have to fight harder. But also that means that our opinion and our voice is that much more important.